Hi everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and thank you so much for joining in on another video. Today I'm outside, got lots of nice little birds around me, and I thought I would share with you what the garden is looking like in the month of March. But not only just the garden, what kind of my landscape around me is looking like, what we've been experiencing here in southeast Queensland, and to kind of get you in touch with my natural environment a little bit more, which is always great to understand for working in the garden. So there's not going to be a lot of me on this video. I'm going to turn you around and share with you what the garden is looking like. So make sure you grab yourself a cup of tea. I've got a beautiful peppermint tea here that I'm going to be sipping on, and we'll walk through the garden. But first I'll share with you some clips that I've taken from around my landscape, talking about what's been happening and this really lovely change of season that we're going through right now. I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure to give it a like if you do, and subscribe for lots more garden content as well. Throughout the month of March and coming into April is really when I start to feel a change of season around me in southeast Queensland. It's been a really rainy last few weeks down here for us, where we've been having flooding around, which has been really needed for our dam catchments because we're still pretty low on our water levels for southeast Queensland, and the rain has been a real welcome for the water catchments to fill up all of the beautiful creeks and rivers around, and also just to provide water for the earth and to make different nutrients available for the plants and the animals around. The earth has definitely come alive with the last bits of rain we've had, and I've been really enjoying just coming out into the forest and just observing what's happening around me, what's happening in the soil, what's growing in the soil, the life that all of this rain has brought to this area, and just being mindful of the little things that are changing around in my environment and how it makes me feel. And it has been making me feel super calm when I've been going on different nature walks and just really appreciating everything around me and looking forward to the cooler weather and the change of season to come. The rain has been so wonderful for the garden as well. We've had so much growth in a lot of the different plants, but this is kind of what the main vegetable patch is looking like at the moment. You can see some really happy sunflowers over there that I will take you over to see. I'll give you a really brief overview of what I'm doing in each of the beds. In the first one here, there used to be some corn here that I took out in one of my previous videos, and Scott and I are going to be working on these two beds to be planting some onions and leeks that we have growing as seedlings right now. Also planting quite a lot of greens in this area as well, just because you can kind of see there's not a lot of trees around it and it gets really nice full sun. So in winter this is going to be a really great patch for a lot of greens in here. Then moving up here, this is the bed that I planted the garlic in. So I planted the garlic last weekend, which will be a week and a half probably until you see this. So I haven't seen any garlic pop up as of yet, but I will probably hopefully expect it throughout the next week or so to pop up. The cosmos are kind of struggling a little bit. They did have a little bit of aphid pressure, so I'm just keeping a good eye on those ones. And then down the end here, have some more beautiful sunflowers, some of which are almost finished and others which are starting to bloom. You can kind of see quite a few ants around here. There are some aphids on these sunflowers, but they're really not impacted too much, so I'm not really going to worry about it. What we have been harvesting a lot of lately is okra, and I really should have come down here a little earlier to pick this one because it's quite big, but that's okay. So I've been harvesting the red okra and the green as well. I tend to prefer this one here, the Clemson Spineless, I think it's called. It's a really, really delicious okra that I pretty much just eat fresh. I find it a little bit sweeter than the red variety, and the pods are a little bit thicker than the red as well. Also got some chilies growing down here. These are some, I'm not actually too sure what they are because they're compost chilies. I don't think these are sweet ones though. I think these might be quite spicy and quite hot. So we'll do a taste test soon and yeah, see what we've got here. So I've got another okra here, another capsicum here. The radishes were not doing too well at all, so we're just going to bypass those ones. Basically there was too little nitrogen in the soil for those ones to do okay. You can kind of see they're really, really stunted. It was also just too warm for them as well, so we'll try again soon. Probably in a week or so when it cools down. And then I've also got some jalapenos growing down here, which are so, so delicious. I don't wait till these go red a lot of the time. I just kind of pick them green, and yeah, they've been really nice. And then in this row here, I actually haven't come through and dealt with the tomatoes today, but some of them do need to be staked up a little bit. So this was the tomato plant that I pruned in my last video, and it's responded really, really well to that. Kind of see some tomatoes forming on it. So I think this one here is actually a larger yellow variety, so I'm excited for that. And then in between I've got some more cosmos and alyssum as well. This one here is looking very sad. I need to stake this one up. It's another Thai pink egg and a beautiful cherry tomato. This is a rainbow cherry, so hopefully they'll be all different colors. And then the Thai pink egg. I have noticed a few little black spots though, which indicates that it could have some fruit fly damage. They're not on all of the fruits though, so I'm hoping that it's minimal, but it's something that I'm just keeping an eye on. And my gorgeous sunflowers, that just make me so happy because I can see them from the balcony. If you haven't planted sunflowers and it's the right time, I would definitely recommend putting some in the ground. Got some more compost capsicums down here. I think these ones are the red variety. I love these ones, they're so delicious. At the end of the row, the pigeon pea is going amazing, and I will talk about in probably my next video or my next kind of garden with me what I like to do with pigeon pea. But spoiler, I use it as a chop and drop. So these leaves are just so gorgeous and velvety. They're super high in nitrogen. So what I like to do is chop the plant back, not so much that it's going to die or anything, but just to keep it at a manageable height, because I love to use this as mulch around some of the more established plants that then kind of breaks down over time and provides nitrogen to that area. They are also a nitrogen fixing plant, so they naturally put nitrogen back into the soil as well. They're just such an awesome plant. And then behind these ones next to one of the pigeon pea, I've got some 4 eggplants. These ones here are starting to flower. You can kind of see that little flower and fruiting, so super excited to have some autumn eggplant from these. And then I worked on planting some sage. The salvias at the back are not happy at all. And lots of basil around the compost bin here. I find basil and greens just thrive around compost bins because there's so much nitrogen, which is what I want for basil. Because I'm not after the seeds or the fruit or anything, I want it to put as much energy into these gorgeous leaves so I can enjoy my pesto. So I've got the larger leaf variety of basil and then this Greek basil as well. Also in addition to the Thai basil here. The rest of the little herb garden here has a pepino melon, some more salvias, rosemary, and some oregano and alyssum as well. I've gone for a little bit more of a Mediterranean style garden here just because it suits our climate so much. So I've been watching from the balcony every day to just kind of see and watch this area bulk up a little bit. So that's what this side of the garden is looking like. I'll take you up to the other area and give you a little bit of a tour. But yeah, overall it's going really, really well so far. Something that is going incredibly well is the random compost pumpkins that we have. This pretty much stemmed from one plant. Could be two, but I'm pretty sure it's just one. And this pumpkin vine has overtaken this area, which we're totally okay with because it's producing us with some gorgeous free food. I counted about 6 different pumpkins on this vine that is growing all throughout this gorgeous little patch. So I'm looking at starting to pick some of them soon, probably this one here. But yeah, there's quite a few amongst here. There's also a random rock melon over there that I think is probably past its day. But yeah, lots of different pumpkins, which I'm really super excited about. And also a really random tomato that seemed to have grown out of the compost as well. So lots of free food. The area around the pool is kind of just in a transition process at the moment. I'm thinking about what I want to do with this area in terms of what I want to grow, and I think a lot of this I'm going to keep herbs and greens. We've been eating a lot of the warrigal greens here. It's kind of overtaken this area, which is perfectly fine, but I think I might want to start growing a few other different varieties of greens here, as well as maybe some radishes. I transplanted some Brazilian spinach to kind of take over this corner of the pot. You can propagate Brazilian spinach really easily, just take cuttings and I just put it in the ground here. It responded really well to all of that rain, and this soil in this bed is absolutely beautiful. I've been kind of adding some coffee grounds and tea leaves in here just to bump up the nitrogen levels, and it's looking beautiful. The blueberry plant, one of them definitely needs a prune. There's some last little dahlias flowering. There's not too much going on in the native bush food hedge that we've planted. I've still got some elderberries that are pretty much on their way out. We've also been mulching with some kitty litter around here because we're not going to be eating this for a while, but the kitty litter that we do have is really biodegradable. So that's what all that is. And then down here is where I've got a few other beds that are also in a transition phase. Again, with the change of season, I generally have quite a lot of different bare beds, I suppose, getting ready to be able to plant some crops that like the cooler weather. One of these is some cucumbers. I have basically just created some mounds in this bed here. This is a very experimental bed in that it's comprised pretty much of a lot of horse manure that is being well rotted, as well as wood chips to help break that down, with some lots of coffee grounds and compost as well, with an underlying kind of hugelkultur style with large logs as the very base of this. Kind of built up some mounds for the cucumbers to plant in. They've just started sprouting. I've got this grate over here just so that the cat didn't get in. They seem pretty happy in here, so this will definitely be an experiment. These are the Space Master cucumbers, so they don't take up a lot of space. I've put 3 in each little mound and I'll, see what happens with them. If they take over the bed, they take over the bed. I mainly just want to have something growing in here so we can have a chance of having some food. In this bed, I've got some random tomatoes that I just had left out of all of the ones that I was growing. So I've just put them in here, put them in the ground. You can see they've just started flowering, and some of them have some fruit. So this one here is another Thai pink egg. In amongst these tomatoes, I've also planted some more basil that we've been generously picking to add to our dinners, and some more Greek basil as well. That I just find Greek basil just adorably cute. It's such a delight to have in the garden, and same as the alyssums that are just next door. That this one's starting to hopefully flower soon. and provide a little bit more food for the pollinators around. Next to that bed, I have a bed resting. I had a lot of green manure in this that I pretty much just chopped and dropped the other day, so I cut it all back just because it was starting to flower. When your green manure starts to flower, the kind of consequence of that is that you get seeds, and I don't want the seeds from the green manure to keep reseeding in this bed here. I want it to be vegetables, and I want all the green manure to break down. So I cut all that back, and I've still got a few things growing in here. I've got some zinnias growing that have been in here for a while, but underneath it's all breaking down. So you can see lots of little bugs scurrying away. The bugs are my friends. They are doing a lot of the work for me, and yeah, breaking down all that material. So I think that pretty much concludes the March garden tour and the March little update video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go head back down and drink my cup of tea and have a nice relaxing afternoon. I hope you do the same, and I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world. And until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye.